In 2017, musician Lachy Doley did something most business owners would never do. He emailed his adoring fans to tell them in no uncertain terms that he was, and I quote, more broke than ever and seriously this close to giving up and finding a real job, end quote. 4 years later, and he's about to embark on a global tour with Pink Floyd's Roger Waters. It's a not-so-dark side of the moon, episode 578 of the 12-year-old, award-winning Small Business Big Marketing podcast.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show, where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Tim Reid.
And welcome back to your weekly dose of marketing melodies. I'm your host, Timbo Reid, and I have an insatiable curiosity for uncovering marketing strategies and ideas that help businesses just like yours to grow. You, so much more importantly, are a motivated business owner ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And guess what? That is why this podcast has existed for so long. You're in the right place. As per usual, team, there's marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. Righto, guys, let's get stuck into today's interview. And it is a part of an ongoing Small Business Big Marketing story. So I won't bore you with the details. Suffice to say that about 7 or 8 years ago, I received an email from a young fellow, Lachy Doley, who said, hey, Timbo, I love your show. I listened to it in the tour bus and it's really benefiting me. And I've gone ahead and written you a jingle and some music bed for you to use in future episodes. I have a listen to what he sent me. It's awesome. I don't know this bloke at this point in time, but what he sent me is awesome. And I use it to this day. You would have just heard it as the opening jingle to this episode. I ring Lachy. His number's at the bottom of the email. I say, hey, thanks, brother. Love it. What can I do for you in return? He goes, I thought maybe I can get him some jingle work from fellow podcasters. Maybe I can, I don't know. I just want to help him out because he's helped me. He goes, that's fine, Timbo. I'm Jimmy Barnes's keyboard player and I just wanted to do you a favour. So I think that is awesome. So we establish a bit of a relationship, talk once a year, and subsequently had Lachy on my show a number of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, because he's a business person. In the first instance, Lachy is a business person and he's having a crack. He's a musician for Jimmy Barnes. He's got his own Lachy Doley Experience band. He's got vinyls. He's even the world's leading expert on the Hammond organ and has a course on that. He's got $1 membership programs. He's just having a crack like we all are. But then, 7th of January 2017, comes an email. A mass email to his list. He's even a musician that's building a bloody list. He's got things going. I am going to read you part of that email. It starts, the subject line is the honest truth about my career and family. I'm going to paraphrase some stuff, just highlighted some notes out of here. I'm not going to lie, says Lachy. I'm doing it tough at the moment. It's taking its toll on my family, myself, and my mental health. It's a long email, guys, so as he said, I'm just paraphrasing some key points. When you find yourself home after driving 12 hours straight from an incredible week, playing 5 awesome shows to standing ovations, but you simply can't pay your mortgage and feed the family that week, it's time to really think hard about whether this is all worth it, in capital letters. Don't get me wrong. I know I've achieved so much and I know I'm a great product. Every day someone comments to me about how well I'm doing. This makes me feel good for a second, but because I know that it's totally not the case, it really brings me down further. I'm flat broke, actually broker than ever. I'm seriously this close to just giving up and finding a real job. Sorry for the depressing tone of this email, but it's just where I am at right now. That was in 2017. It is now 2021, and Lachy Doley has been given the job, the privilege, the excitement, I don't know what you call it, to be the keyboard player in Roger Waters' Pink Floyd tour that's coming up in January 2022. How the fuck did he do it? We're about to find out. Lachy Doley, welcome back to the Small Business Big Marketing podcast.
Hey, Timbo. Oh, what an intro. Wow. Whew, that was crazy.
Mate, how does that... I'm guessing you haven't read that email since January 2017. Any emotions that come up?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just hearing you saying those words back to me again after all this time, it's like it just takes me back to that place that I felt, I guess, that desperate that I could write an email like that to my supporters. But also it's amazing, that I felt comfortable enough with my supporters that I could write something like that honest, that brutally honest. Yeah, and it turned out it was one of the best things I could have done, really, and I think it did nothing but bring me closer to all those people. And
yeah, well, it was brave, and we talked about that in the last interview, and I'm going to put a link in the show notes to that interview because it's actually worth listening to first. smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/579. You'll find a link to that interview. Lachy, incredible, mate. This is talk about Phoenix rising from the ashes. Now, we are here for you to explain how you become the keyboard player for the Roger Waters Pink Floyd tour next year. However, in order for that to make sense to people who might not give a flying you-know-what about Pink Floyd or Roger Waters, just describe the scale of what you're about to embark on. The size of the tour, the duration, the stage, the calibre of your fellow band members. Go for gold, mate, and don't be humble, Lachy.
Well, it's basically as big as it's ever going to get, really. It's the biggest kind of production and touring that there is, around the world at the moment. I cannot even fathom it at the moment. I'm still not even taking it in. It's so ridiculous. But, it's like every kind of rock and roll cliche you can think of. It's, it's jets, it's stadiums, it's entourage. It's probably a lot healthier and cleaner than what some of those cliches. But all the big stuff it's all of that. And yeah, I don't even know what it's going to be like.
I love the fact that it hasn't sunk in, brother. This is wonderful. And how far away? We're only months away, aren't we? When do you head over to wherever you're heading over to?
Oh, still a while yet. So June
2022.
22. Yeah.
I'm going to help you describe the scale of what you're to embark on, because when Roger Waters toured, I'm going to say 4 years ago around Australia, the Us and Them tour. So
that's right.
I went along to one of his gigs in Melbourne at the Rod Laver Arena, and it completely, and I love live music, man. I love live music. This completely blew my mind. The stage show, the screen, I've never seen such a big screen at the back, the production quality of everything. But what completely blew my mind is, and being a bit of an audiophile, is the quality of the sound. And I think it's going to blow your mind too. All I know, and I don't have the terminology for it, it was completely surround sound. You know, the wall, one of the songs on the wall has a plane crashing through into the stadium. I was with a mate.
The chopper.
The chopper. And I was with a mate, and he wasn't a Pink Floyd fan, and he's looking around going, mate, there's something happening. There's something crashing in. The quality of the sound, he's looking around, he's kind of, where's that coming from? It's like complete surround sound. I mean, it is an absolute treat for any musician to be a part of this, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I didn't see the Us and Them tour, but I saw the Wall. I think it was maybe about 7 years ago or something when he redid the Wall. I've never ever witnessed such production and such a show, and the technology incorporated with all the amazing classic tunes, and then the sound quality and flying pigs, and it was
The Melbourne show was so good. I actually bought tickets to the Adelaide show the next night and drove to Adelaide and made it within half an hour of the show starting with a mate. So, mate, I'm excited. So,
awesome.
Listen, you hit rock bottom. You send that email out. You get the job with Roger Waters, and here we go. Let's break it down, because this is now a business discussion. As much as this is incredible and it's bucket list stuff for you, and you might have peaked. Who knows? That's okay.
Haven't done it yet.
Haven't done it yet. How did it happen, brother? How did you get this gig?
Well, I think it's just a culmination of everything I've done over the last 10 years, And it doesn't hurt that I've been listening to your program for almost as long as that as well.
Can we attribute this podcast to the fact that you're playing with Roger Waters, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just have to get out my checkbook if anyone still uses those things.
Yeah. When did you get the first inkling that something was happening?
It wasn't an inkling at all. It was just a cold phone call, like out of the blue, out of absolutely nowhere. I get a phone call in early January 2020, and it's like, oh, hello, my name's such and such. I'm Roger Waters' manager, and I was just wondering if he wanted to talk to you about possibly joining him on the next tour. And I'm like, what? You can't be serious. And then, yeah, sure enough, I was like, of course, I would love to. And then, yeah, 10 minutes later, he gives me a call.
Roger does?
Yeah.
Oh, Lachy, this is ridiculous. First of all, his manager, is there at any point are you going, hang on, I'm being punked here? This is a prank call. One of my mates knows I love Pink Floyd and he's setting me up. Did you not think like that and say, hey, listen, give me your name, I'm going to check you out and call you back? Or
I did in between. I definitely did in between. I looked him up and just sort of sussed out what was going on. And I was like, oh, yeah, this could be for real. But I obviously didn't say on the phone, oh, yeah, kidding me, aren't you? What a load of rubbish.
I would have.
Because he definitely sounded like he knew what he was talking about. That's for sure. But, yeah, 10 minutes later, Roger calls me up. And he just starts talking to me about how he's in need of a new organ player for his band. His other player had to leave. And he spent the whole night watching videos of organ players and came across videos of myself at various festivals and various songs that I'd done. And he even went as far to, because he made some comments about like me growing up in Adelaide. So he even found some videos of me talking about where I grew up and how I grew up and my background, and made reference to particular songs of mine that he'd seen. And I couldn't believe it. You know, he'd taken all this time to sort of delve into all these. I mean, I've got hundreds of videos online, and basically see if I've got the goods to do the job, and whether I've got the skills, and I guess also seeing the videos of me talking, you can get some idea of what I'm like as a person as well. And yeah, it was amazing. I was just the thought of him sitting there watching my videos is crazy.
How long did the phone call go for?
Probably about half an hour.
At the end, like was there an ask? It was like, okay, so Lachy, are you in? Or was it like, this is what I'm proposing. Do you want to go away and think about it?
It wasn't quite that easy. No, he said, all right, look, great. I'll tell you what we'll do. I've got a bunch of songs that, some classics and some new ones that I want you to play on. We'll try and organise a time that you can get into a studio, and he'll be there remote on Skype. And basically, he'll direct me to record on some of his tunes, some of the older ones, some of the new ones, and we did that twice. Yeah, and it was amazing just to have him there on the screen, kind of directing me, saying, "Oh, yeah, that's great. How about this? Can you do this?" sort of thing. I think he was really putting me through my paces, really. Just making sure that I could follow his direction and I could do whatever he asked me to do, and whether I was getting overwhelmed by it or whatever. Or so basically at the end of that, the second one went for hours, and I was there till dawn in the morning at 301 Studios in Sydney with him on the other end. Yeah. And then at the end of that, he goes, "Yep, great, fantastic, let's do this." And I was like, amazing. And then basically the next day we get the call, "That's great, you're in the band, but the tour's cancelled. COVID." Yeah, so that was meant to be the end of 2020, but luckily it's still going ahead, but next year.
There's so much in there, brother. First of all, the emotion of when he said at the end of that session at the studio in Sydney, it's early morning, and he says, "You're in." Did you cry? Did you go, "Yeah, I thought that'd be the case. Thanks, Rog. I'll go away and think about it."
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I bet you were comfortably numb.
I was. Oh man, I was probably pretty uncomfortable in a way. It was just so shocking. It was like, it still is. It's been so long, and I think the weight of the postponement as well has been just sort of this underlying kind of anxiousness going on. The whole time. In lieu of it sort of being postponed, and now it's creeping up, and now I'm getting super excited.
You've been prolific, Lachy, in your content creation. Now, albeit you do something that begs content. Yeah, being a musician, being an artist, being out in front of live audiences, and all that, it begs content. So there'll be some business owners listening who go, "Oh yeah, but he's got a startup," but not really. I mean, we can all create content. Was there ever a point when you're just posting these videos and doing this stuff on Insta and Facebook and just going, "Man," well, clearly Matt, you went through a phase where is it worth it? But hey, look, all these hundreds of videos now, magic happens.
Yeah, I've been putting content out as much as I humanly can, physically can, for the last 10 years, and always trying to make the most of every opportunity, whether I'm playing on a big stage. I'll always try to go to that extra effort to film it and record it, because you just never know. It could be a magic show, and there's always a lot of work involved, editing it and mixing it and putting it together. But, if you can just keep that sort of flow going and of great performances and, little snippets of exciting moments and things like that, just try to keep that ball rolling. And, sometimes some of the videos will really take off in that sort of a music-loving community, and sometimes they just won't. But that doesn't mean that they're not reaching some important people. You just don't know who's going to be watching what, or who's going to share a video to who, recommend something. And I think in regards to Roger, I was just really lucky that he didn't search out my videos, say, 5 years ago or even longer, because there wasn't really that much there. But I think the fact that he could go through and find everything that he sort of needed from me to at least make a decision to reach out, I mean, that's just worth the whole thing. Like, regardless of my career and my own project, even just that by itself makes that whole last 10 years worth it.
What does it do for, again, business owner hat on, you have a business called the Lachy Doley Experience. That is your band, right? And that's your primary source of income and fun and revenue and all things music. You are actually being asked to put your business aside, in a sense, to now focus on, to now go and work for someone else, right? It'd be like any business owner who's been given an opportunity to go and work inside a company and having to put their business aside. Is that how you see it?
No, it's not how I see it at all. I guess it could be seen that way, but it all ties into the same thing. It's all the same business for me. Whether I'm playing for Jimmy Barnes or whether I'm playing for Powderfinger or whether I'm doing my shows as well, I love both of them equally. I love being able to be the guy at the front of the stage with all the responsibility and all the power and all the glory, I suppose. And then I also love being the guy who's just, in a way, just told what to do and to do your part as best as humanly possible as you can. And I love both. I love both parts of it, and I think I'm really lucky that I've got that, because each one can get tiring. Sometimes if you're working for one person for too long, you can get fatigued doing that. And then it's great because then that tour stops and then I can focus on the Lachy Doley group and get really excited about that, and I'm all refreshed to do that. And then once that sort of potentially gets a little overwhelming, I can then do a tour for someone else. And I think I'm really lucky that I can do that. And the other thing is they both help each other, playing with Roger or playing with Jimmy, it's the people that you meet, the other fans that you could potentially, the fanatical fans of, say, Roger and Jimmy, they discover you and they're the kind of people that want to look and find out what this person's all about and then go into your music. And so it's all kind of part of the same thing. It's just little different aspects, and I love both of them just as much.
You've been awesome with your fans too, Lachy, in the sense that providing great content for them, but also engaging with them and responding to them. And I hear a lot of business owners go, I can't put my head above the trench. I can't get a podcast or a YouTube channel, or I can't get on social media because I'll be inundated. You won't be inundated. I mean, if someone's going to be inundated, it's going to be someone like you doing what you're doing. And it's like, I think business owners need to get over that and say, hey, listen, we do need to stick our head above the trench because we have modest budgets and we do need to get noticed and we do need a point of difference. And you've done that. The tour, buddy, are you able to take your family? How long are you going for? You're going to North America and Europe. What's that look like?
So for the Roger tour, it's just North America, but it is for 4 months. So yeah, the plan is to bring the family over at some point. My wife, Jem, she's a psychologist, so she works full time, and Dash is obviously at school. So it's going to be tricky to work it out. But one of the amazing things about playing for Roger is it is like it's a pay increase.
Yeah, and just remind me. I mean, you told me the other day what it was. Just remind me how much.
I think it was about 60 million or something like that.
Good. Okay, so now we've narrowed it down to somewhere between nothing, you're doing it for the love of it, and 60 million. So that's awesome. Well, yeah, big pay increase. So, and with that comes pressure. What do you, just out, and I know you're not going to tell us, but I am interested to know how it works. I know you're not going to tell us the amount. Is it a salary? Is that what it is? It's essentially, you're a salaried employee of Roger Waters?
This time it's a little bit different. Every employer sort of does it a bit differently. Some do it as a weekly wage or a retainer. With Roger, it's just, I think he's just itemising it. So it's, you get a certain amount per gig and a certain amount per day away and that kind of thing. But luckily enough, I think the plan is hopefully to be able to get a nanny back here.
How do you prepare? So you're speaking to Roger each month? Is there a band member meetings every week? How do you prepare for something like this? There's the stage to consider. There's the song list to consider. There is you getting your head around the music. So much to consider. Yeah,
well, at the moment, I haven't got heaps of information on the set list. So I've just been going through all the old performances, the old DVD of us and them, and just making sure I'm over as much of it as I can, and listening to the older records just in case there's any sort of odd ones that might sort of pop up. Just trying to do as much as I can to make it as easy for myself when I get in there, and just I'm determined to do the absolute best job I've ever done in my entire life.
Do you have is it weeks of rehearsals in the lead up with, at some sound stage somewhere?
Yeah, so we fly over in June, and then there's, I think it's 2 weeks of rehearsals, just band rehearsals, and then another 2 weeks of full production rehearsals. So in the round, it's like we're playing in the middle of the stadiums this time. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be incredible.
Well, it's called This Is Not a Drill. I know he's doing 12 Pink Floyd songs and then a whole lot of his stuff. Roger Waters is a very political character.
Yes.
Very outspoken about a number of issues. Can be a bit of an angry ant at sometimes. I don't think he tolerates fools. I would be guessing He would be a fairly impatient fellow. Do you feel like you need to buy into any of that? Do you stay away from it? Do you nod your head when he goes, what's happening here is terrible?
Yeah. Look, I don't know. As far as the political side of things, if I tend to leave that off my my kind of socials and my brand, as you might say. But obviously that stuff's going to come up, and I think it's just probably important for me to understand where he's coming from and all that sort of, and I do plan to broaden my knowledge of those sort of things as well, because I think that's important to have some common ground on those things.
What's your favourite Pink Floyd song?
Oh, gee. My favourite album is definitely Dark Side of the Moon. Just sonically, I mean, every track sounds amazing, and the experimentation and the wizardry of the studio, and just the sonic pleasure that album gives is amazing. Hard to put my finger on it. I do love Great Gig in the Sky, I got to say.
Oh, it's incredible. The vocals on that are mind-blowing.
Oh,
absolutely
amazing.
Mind-blowing.
It really is wild, and beautiful chords that Rick plays on the piano, and yeah.
I have a book. It's a pride of place on my bookshelf in my study is every Pink Floyd song explained, the story behind every single Pink Floyd song ever written. You got that book?
I haven't, no.
Oh, man, it's really worth getting. Well, Lachy Doley, it's awesome, brother. I'm just so excited for you, and, I think I'm living vicariously through you. So
yeah, are you going to come along? Are you going to...
Look, mate, I'm pretty busy.
Come on.
Okay.
I'm sure they could find room on the jet.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, if it wasn't for COVID, and maybe by then it'll all be sorted out anyway, who knows where the world will be in June 2022, but do you think it'll come to Australia? Do you have any inkling as to whether it'll come here?
I have no idea, no. I haven't heard word of anything other than this current tour, but it's very possible. Considering most of the tours end up going worldwide, but I guess we'll see.
Lachy, well done, brother. LachyDoley.com, LachyDoley.com is where you'll find everything about him. Smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/579. I'll put a link to our past interview. Mate, well done. I just think it's just such a lovely, lovely rags to riches story, and it has only just begun.
Oh, thanks so much, Timbo. Pleasure being on again, as always. There's probably a bit more businessy stuff in the previous podcast, but it's a good follow-up, that's for sure.
I think the smart listener will see the business insights and the business lessons here. It's all about having a crack and sticking your head down and not looking at the scoreboard and letting you work. What do they say? The best marketing is a great product, and you are a great example of that. So I'm getting a bit teary now, mate. So just let's say goodbye.
Oh,
wish you were here.
Oh, so good to see you,
Lachy. Awesome,
See you,
brother.
mate.
Thank you. Well, there you go, team. Once broke, now slightly wealthy muso, Lachy Doley. Hey, is it just me, or would you also love to know how much he's getting paid per gig? Wouldn't you just love to know that? I think it's going to be a lot more than he's ever earned playing for Barnesy or himself or any other musician. Such a great story. Sorry I fanboyed my way through that interview, and especially sorry if you aren't a Pink Floyd fan, but geez, there are some big business lessons in there for us all. You can head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/578 where you'll find the link to my first interview with Lachy, worth a listen, and a copy of that email he sent in 2017, along with a link to Roger's tour. Notice I call him Roger. Roger Waters' tour. Let's be respectful. Now, here's my top 3 attention grabbers from that chat with Lachy. Attention grabber number 1. I love how he stuck it out. Music is Lachy's gift to the world, and he knows that. He would have lasted 5 minutes in a job. I should have asked him what job he actually would have gone for if he gave up music. But it's his gift, and I'm so glad he didn't give up. And I bet he is too. Attention grabber number 2. I love Lachy's humbleness. I've spoken to business owners a lot less successful than Lachy, who are a lot more egotistical. I honestly believe Lachy's ability to keep his ego in check is a rather large contributor to his current success. And attention grabber number 3, I love how Lachy has created multiple revenue streams to get him through the tough times. We talked about this in my first chat with him, but hey, he's a musician, he's an artist, but he's a business guy at the same time. And those multiple revenue streams, besides gigging and creating albums, have got him through these tough times. It's really impressive stuff. That's what grabbed my attention. I would love to know what grabbed yours. Head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/578. Leave a comment in the show notes. Even better, give us a buzz. 0480 015 150. Let me know your thoughts on that chat with Lachy. Maybe you've got a marketing idea that's working its pants off for your business. I'd love to hear about that. Maybe you've got a marketing question. I am here, ready to hear what you have got to tell me. And I may well play it on an upcoming episode. 0480 015 150. Next episode, you and I catch up with another muso, Texas-based Stephanie Scheller. Stephanie owns a marketing agency that teaches clients the not-so-subtle art of disruption. And guess how she does it? With a violin, of course. Yeah, with a squeaky little violin called Honey. More on that next week. If you'd love to know how and why to create some helpful marketing, then grab a copy of my book, The Boomerang Effect, over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. I'd love to hear what marketing is working for you, so give the Small Business Big Marketing hotline a buzz on that number shared previously. And if you are loving the podcast, and I reckon you are if you got this far, then you'll find 577 more episodes on your favourite podcast app. As has been the case for the past 12 years, this podcast was fronted by me, Timbo Reid, the music written and recorded by you-know-who, and producer Romy Sher has the pleasure of making sense of it all for your listening pleasure. Until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.